All right. Welcome back to the Nashville Party Trailer podcast. My name is Mr. Gooch. I am the owner of the Nashville Party Trailer here in Nashville, Tennessee. I created this podcast to help those who are interested in getting into this business or anything likewise, as such as renting the trailer or being a mobile bartender, or if you have a party bus, or any kind of little small business. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff, but I'm here today to introduce you to the refrigerated beer trailer. And if you haven't seen my first video, go ahead on and after this video, go ahead back to TikTok, Facebook, or uh, YouTube, and you can click Nashville Party Trailer. You can find me there. Also, if you feel like this information is beneficial, has been beneficial to you, you see right there in the left hand corner my Cash App, $ Party Trailer, or you can click on my bio, or you can also go to um, my website, and we do have a merchandise page on the website if you feel like this has been beneficial to you. Uh, I'm going to be giving out a lot of valuable information, and hopefully, you won't make any, I can prevent you from making any mistakes that I came close to making. It's been pretty good to me. It's been pretty good to me, pretty easy. Like I said, some days, sometimes, I have to juggle between my job and this right here, and that's why I said, I'm still trying to uh, build this thing until build my brand, until I retire in the next 5 to 6 years, depending on when me and my wife decide to go ahead and sit down. So, after saying all of that, today we're going to talk about the beer board. One of your first things you need to do when you decide to do this right here, or anything that has anything to do with alcohol, is I would suggest that you make an appointment with your local beer board, or you make an appointment with your local ABC board. And when I say make an appointment, don't talk on the phone. Make a face-to-face appointment. Tell you a little funny story about me. Again, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. So I stumbled in a lot of things. So throughout my podcast, there's going to be a few podcasts where I'm just going to share some stories with you, and you're going to be like, wow, he's crazy. But I kind of stumbled into this. I had already made a down payment on my trailer. I made $1,000 down payment. I had to go somewhere outside of St. Louis and give this man $1,000 to start building my trailer. And when I got back home, I got to thinking, and I was like, man, I hope I hope I don't get in trouble with this thing, because we are dealing. I'm not going to be selling beer, but I am going to be dealing with people who's going to be selling beer. So I got, I was like, man, what do I need to do? So I decided to Google the Nashville billboard. Now, I'm going to have to say this before I get started on this story. I'm going to have to take my hat off to the Nashville billboard. I can't speak for other states and other cities, and I know some people, when dealing with the government, man, some people can have a hard on or whatever, and forgive me if I offended anybody. I wasn't trying to, but the Nashville billboard, when I went down, I didn't even make an appointment. This is the funny part of it. I decided to look up the address and go downtown and find somebody in the billboard where I can go and explain to them what I was doing. So I get up, I go downtown. I walk. I look at the marquee, or whatever you call it, and I see what floor the billboard was on. So I get on the elevator, push the floor. I go up to the billboard, step out the step out the elevator. I see the office, and I walked in, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy. So there was a lady there standing there, right there where the reception place is. And she said, "May I help you?" And I told her who I was and what the name of my company that I had started and what I was trying to do. And so I was trying to explain to her the trailer and what it did, and as far as hey, I'm not a bartender. I'm not selling beer. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to rent the trailer, and then I got some other things that I'm going to rent. So, and this is the reason why I said make a face to face appointment, because I don't like really trying to explain myself over the phone. I'm not good at articulating myself a lot of times. So I'm the type of person, if you show me how to do something, if I'm sitting there and I can ask you all the questions I need to ask, and kind of get comfortable with you, and then I'm satisfied. But when I'm texting, or if I'm on the phone and I hang up, and I always forget something, and I'm not satisfied with you know with the conversation or whatever. So I'm the type of person, I need to either talk to you face to face, or even when my wife buys furniture and stuff she wants me to put together, which I hate doing. I gotta click on YouTube, and I can't deal with those instructions, man. I have to click on YouTube. Thank God for YouTube, and I have to you know follow somebody who's doing. And once I see it, once I see it come together, then I don't even need instructions. Boom, 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 boom. So the lady was standing there behind the reception desk, and she said, "May I help you?" So I started telling her what I was trying to do. I trying to explain to her about the trailer, how what my vision was for the trailer, and I was not trying to get in trouble and stuff like that. So she kind of had a hard time understanding what I was saying. So what I did was took my phone and I pulled up a picture. And when I showed her the picture, her eyes got real big, and I was like, "Uh oh, I'm in trouble." She said, "Young man, come with me," and I was like, "Uh oh." So I go into her office. I go into her office. She sets me down, and I promise y'all, when I say this, I am going to have to take my hat off to the Nashville Party. I mean, not the Nashville Party, but the Nashville Billboard. There are some new faces. Actually, I went last week and I saw some new faces down there that I hadn't seen before. And the person that I was going to see, he didn't come to the meeting that time, so I just left. But I hadn't been to a board meeting in a while, and I explained to y'all why it's important to go to the board meeting in a minute. Hold on. So I she tells me to come into the office, come into her office. I went into the office and I sat down, and she just looked at me, and she said, "Let me see that again." I showed it to her again. She said, "You're in a kind of a gray area." I was like, I kind of figured, that's why I'm down here. I wanted to ask some questions and whatever. And she said, um, she started explaining to me, she told me her name. She started kind of explaining to me how the billboard works and stuff like that. So while I was sitting there, I looked at her name tag that was on her desk, and it said Billboard Director. I was like, how in the world did I end up in front of the Billboard Director? Now, there's a difference between the Billboard Director and the director of directors of Billboard. The directors of the Billboard, it's about 6 or 7 of them. They meet, and they discuss various things. But she ran the day-to-day operations. This Billboard director, she ran the day-to-day operation of the Billboard. So me and her, we got to talking, and she said, "Okay, look here." She said, "There are certain things that you can do with this trailer, and there are certain things that you can't do with the trailer." She said, "I'm going to need you to make an appointment. I'm going to make need you to make an appointment with my lead inspector, and you need to come back and talk to him because he can probably answer all the questions you need answered." And she was very nice. She was very cool, and I felt real good when I left. She gave me his number, and again, I didn't really know what to expect when I called him, but she gave me his number. I went home and I called, left a message, told him about, meeting, the lady that I had met earlier, and she gave me his number to call. So he called me that same day and set up an appointment. And I can't remember how many days it was. It may have been the following week that I went down there. And it was him and her sitting down with me for almost an hour. Almost an hour. And I was able to explain to him what I was doing, and I was able to ask him all the questions that I needed to ask. And also, he gave me his number in case I needed to ask any more questions. I could call or I can text or whatever. And I thought that was so cool. And they were nice. It seemed like they was trying to keep me out of trouble. And he was telling me, things that I could do, and how far, if you are, doing an event, how close the trailer could be to a school, or how close the event should be to a school and stuff like that. He was telling me, yes, you can rent the trailer, but you cannot sell beer, or I could serve beer, but I couldn't sell beer if I wanted to. And I told him I didn't even want to serve beer at that point. I just wanted to rent the trailer. But he said, but you had, certain permits that I had to have if I was going to serve beer, or either certain permits that my client had to have if I was going to serve beer. And and it was really cool, man. And come to find out, one of my best friends is one of his best friends, and we didn't even know it after talking and stuff like that. So we really got cool. But they really worked with me. You know what I'm saying? They really kind of guided me in the right direction. And then again, I was able to ask all the questions I needed to ask. And that's why I'm saying it's very, very important to try to build a relationship with somebody at the billboard. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Another reason being, if I felt like if one of my clients was doing something that caused them to be shut down, well, y'all have heard, I'm thinking that the billboard, if they came and shut somebody down, they would know that would be my trailer. Hey, hey, call Mr. Goose, tell him come get his trailer instead of confiscating my trailer and things like that. I've never had any problems with my clients doing anything wrong. I've never had any problems. I've never had my trailer confiscated. I've never been in trouble with it. When I take my trailer, when I do deliver my trailer, and I will show you my book on the next show, but I call this book that I carry my Bible. It has everything about my trailer. And that was one cool thing about the beer inspector when I sat down and talked to him, because he didn't know all the rules and regulations off the top of his head. So he had this book of all the rules and regulations that he carries with him everywhere he goes, you know. And but that's kind of how it went down, And so I felt good. I was able to, finish my trailer, and I was able to, take possession of my trailer after I paid the guy, and everything was everything. But I knew what to do and what not to do. because I've always tried to stay out of trouble with the billboard. I even have a link to the billboard on my website. I even have in my rental agreement, I have a rental agreement with non-permit holders and permit holders, and I learned all of this from the billboard. Okay, so again, very cool experience. I can't, again, I can't speak for other states, other cities, other counties, but I can take my hat off to the Nashville billboard. All right, so I'm gonna give you a couple of reasons why it's cool to go to the meetings. Okay, they told me when I left, they suggested that I start coming to the billboard meetings and bring your business cards with you. I said, okay. She said the meetings they are open um, to the public, and I was more than welcome to come to the meetings. So I started going to the billboard meetings. I think it was twice a month. I started going to the billboard meetings, and what you will find at the billboard meetings, and this is one of the reasons how I got a lot of corporate gigs and festivals and stuff like that. By the way, I just finished up the Greek festival this weekend, and it went pretty good. We had some issues with power. They didn't have enough power for the trailer, but and at first they thought it was the trailer, but I assured them that it wasn't the trailer. And when I got home last night and plugged up the trailer worked fine, and they never did call me back, so I guess everything worked out. But one of the reasons why it was cool to go to the meetings were anytime an outdoor event takes place, they have to go through the billboard to get their permit to sell beer. Generally, and this is people who, when you get your permit, you have to apply for your permit probably somewhere like 3 months before the event, so once you apply for the permit, then they bring you before the board, and that might be a few weeks or maybe a month before the event, and then you have to have the correct dates because those permits are only good for a limited time. So you have to have all of that stuff in place. And so what I would do, I would go down there to the meetings, and when I see somebody get up and go before the board for their permit, I would step outside the door and hand them a card. Hey, I'm the Nashville Party Trailer. Not for sure if you need a refrigerated trailer for the beer, or any of your clients do, but here go some cards, and this is my website and stuff like that. So I would constantly do that, and it didn't matter, it was just what event that it was. I would see them. I would hear what they were saying about the event. And I always sit back there by the door because as soon as they hit that door, I right behind them. Hey, excuse me, and give them a card. And again, I got a lot of business like that, a lot of corporate stuff, a lot of festivals. Now, there's some other ways that I got started in the corporate world, renting my trailer, but that's gonna be on down the line on some other videos. Another reason why I started going to the billboards meetings is because I don't know how many distributors there are here in Nashville. I want to say maybe 5 or something like that, but the distributors are at the billboard meetings to do just the same. They're selecting all the people who are coming before to get their billboard permits. They're submitting their product. So this is how it works with the distributor. The distributor doesn't work with an individual Like if somebody called for a trailer to come to their house, they don't do that. They usually don't even charge for their trailer because to use one of their trailers, you usually have to buy a certain amount of product of their product to use one of their trailers. They'll throw the trailer in there free, but you usually have to buy like 2,500, minimum of $2,500 or $3,500, you know, of their product. So they're trying to sell their product. You can only serve their product. If you use my trailer, you can use whatever product you want. It can be uh, um, Budweiser, it can be Coors, it can be a craft beer or whatever. You can just use whatever. But to use one of their trailers, you have to buy a certain amount of product, and that's how it works. Now, what happens with the distributors certain times of the year, and I've been used probably about two of them. I know at least two distributors have called me and used my trailers. Certain times of the year, man, there's so much going on in Nashville. So, I mean, and man, when I tell you there's so much going on in Nashville, they will run out of trailers. And they will come up short, maybe on a wedding or whatever. They'll come up short and they'll call me, hey, is your trailer available? Yeah. Hey, can we use it? Yeah. So I put them down and I'll deliver my trailer, pick my trailer up, do all of that. And it usually gets them kind of out of a bind, you know. But I wish I would have kept going to the bill meeting because I really wish I would have continued to build um, that relationship with those distributors. But like I said, they call me time to time, not often, but they do call me, time to time to use my trailer. So, but that's two of the reasons why I felt like it was necessary to go to the billboard meetings. I stopped going to the billboard meetings after the pandemic. Once the pandemic hit, everything just stopped, you know. And so when once we started back working, once we started back, going back to work, people just started back calling me again. I had already built a clientele of customers, and so when they started back, man, people just started calling me, and I had to, again, juggle my trailer around my job, and just trying to get back on my feet and stuff like that. But it was cool. As far as using the bill trailer, if I wanted to here in Nashville, that just depends on where you are. It just depends on where you are. If I wanted to, I could rent my trailer year round. I generally don't want to. I usually put my trailer up the 1st of November. I will rent it around Christmas, New Year's, but I have rented it in January just for refrigeration because sometimes people they'll have an event that doesn't have a kitchen or stuff, something like that. But I generally put it up around November, 1st of November, or maybe the second week in November, and I put it up for the year. Like I said, unless in December, I get some calls for Christmas and New Year's, but other than that, I put it up to the first of the year. Put it up until probably March. Yeah, probably March. But I do get calls. I get a few calls for December, January, February, but I just don't want to deal with the weather. I really don't want to deal with the weather. So, but it just depends on where you are and how you advertise your trailer and what type of maybe what type of contracts you may have somebody who does something you know all the time here in Nashville, and they're always needing something, always using you know, the trailer, So, again, that's my story of the billboard, my first step in getting this thing off the ground, and I'm glad I did it. So, hey, again, if this information has been beneficial to you, right there in the corner, you see my Cash App, $Party Trailer, or go to the website, or you can click the bio in my TikTok, or you can go to my website and order some off our merchandise. We really appreciate you supporting us, and looking forward to being with you on the next Nashville Party Trailer podcast.